snowed much afterwards. I've got to cover something in the front yard. Anyway, sorry. Good morning. I will be heading over to work pretty soon. Cheryl is doing another one of those shifts that she does not want to do, just basically because just drama at her workplace, so that's not that great for her. I did a mod to my amp, which I was like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do it because whenever I modify something, it's always like, well, then I'm changing it from like its original condition and all this stuff, but the whole idea of modifying it is so that it sounds better than it did or works better than it did previously. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll give it a shot. So I did it, and wow, my amp sounds way better, and I'm not going to change any of the tubes. I'm not going to I was even going so far as to like go, well, maybe if I replace the speaker, right? So new tubes, just so you know, would cost me like $40. A new speaker would be anywhere between like 60 to sky's the limit, really. And I really didn't want to go any of those routes because I'm cheap. and it was just funny because just the clarity of the amp before and after was astounding. Like the bass amp that I was using before, this guy underneath, I kind of fell out of love with the guitar amp. So I started to use the bass amp a little bit more, just because it had a clearer sound to it. Although it was like really kind of fizzy and just overly loud, very, very loud. So it's like, oh no, I don't want to have to like deal with volume levels and stuff like that. And that's partially why I ended up getting this guy, was because you could change the wattage on the back so that it could be regularly a 5 watt amp, but then you could go all the way down to 0.1 watt. So it was very, very quiet. I was like, oh, okay, well, if I'm playing a little bit later on in the evening, I can just turn it to 0.1 watt and it should be fine. And it works pretty well. But yeah, after I did this modification thing, basically just removing 2 capacitors, wow, it's suddenly an amazing sounding amp again. Or now, not again. I think that's it. I'm gonna head over to work, and yeah. Alright, see you guys later.
Hey guys, I got home from work / groceries. I'm making some shepherd's pie. Well, some sort of something that will hopefully sort of be shepherd's pie. I'm essentially taking a bunch of meat and veggies, putting it in a pan, putting some gravy over it, putting leftover mashed potatoes on it, baking it, and adding a little cheese. Hopefully it tastes okay. It's shepherd's pie, but it's been a very long day today. I actually just called in sick because I'm just so mentally and physically exhausted. I need a break. And so I'm going to take tomorrow to do nothing and just rest, because I have not been able to do that. I think I need it. My body is starting to tell me that I need it, so I'm going to do it. Had a horrible bus experience today. The bus driver was very rude. Somebody hit the stop but didn't get off. It was not me. If I accidentally hit the wrong stop, I will say that it was me. 100% I will say, sorry, that was me, wrong stop, something like that. Just common courtesy. Well, whoever pulled it didn't do it, and it was a stop before my stop. So then I pulled the stop to get off, and he just zooms right past my stop. So I go up to the front, and I'm just like, hey, sorry, you missed my stop back there. And he goes, well, maybe if somebody wouldn't have pulled the button and not said sorry or not told me it was the wrong stop, I would have stopped there too. I just assumed that nobody wanted to stop. Although I was fuming in my head, I was just like, okay, well, it wasn't me. I heard that. I'm sorry. I don't know who did it, but it was not me. But it doesn't mean that you should just go past all the rest of the stops. Without another word, he slams on the brakes. Thank goodness I was hanging on to the pole, because I could have flown forward, which, not to be dramatic, but could have hurt me or the baby. And then he slams the doors open and just sits there. And at this point, I'm like quite a way away from where my stop is. which is fine. I had time to get to work. That's fine, but that's not the point. And then doesn't say another word to me. Just slams the doors open. So I get off and I said, "Have a nice day." And I was just so upset. Like, I know it's silly, it's little, but like, common, like, I don't know. I don't know. It just frustrated me. So I might make my first formal complaint to a company because it just really made me mad. But anyway, shepherd's pie. Gotta get on it. See you guys in a bit.
Hello, I'm home. Work was pretty cool. I had fun. And now we're having a little bit of dessert. What's that, chaps? What's wrong? You had your food. There. Your food, friend.
It ended up great. I don't think I showed you. We'll show you tomorrow what the shepherd's pie looked like, but it was delicious.
It was. I was very tempted to get another piece. But, as Cheryl so nicely pointed out, we have cake. And we have more than our share of frozen desserts. So, save some room.
That's right. Save some room for the yogurts. Save some room for the yogurts.
No, can you guys hear Shabs right now? It's very loud. Listen. Tractor.
Your tractor? Your tractor? What a good boy sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, so we're gonna eat dessert, head off to bed. Cheryl has a day off tomorrow. Yes. Because, hey, surprise, surprise, she's very tired after working as long as she has this week.
I'm straight up playing hooky.
Well, you let them know.
I did let them know.
So. It's not like you're growing a child inside you.
No, not at all. Who does that?
Alright, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Where's Shabs? There he is. Okay.
Hello.